I am back. I'm still learning how to do this YouTube thing, and it's taking its time, and it's more or less just for me to get my messages out because I feel like, regardless of whether I am doing this for um, just mentioning something to talk about, getting the things out of my mind, I know that this will be something that my children could go back to see about me that they already know because they're in the house, they live with me. And at the same time, they will have video footage for years to come, right? Of what it is that their mother's statements was. And they can put that in a memoir for them. Because as much as I have given on one hand, that's just how much I have been taken from with ideas and concepts that have advanced people in ways that they can't even believe. That's why I can't understand. On one hand, you love me, and on the other hand, you despise me. And that's sick and twisted within yourself, right? The battle within, the self annihilation, the tearing down of the self. On one hand, you're fighting to live. On the other hand, you're tearing yourself down with those thoughts that are clouding your judgment about those who you interact with, right? Because we know that on one hand, sometimes people don't want to be bothered with you. But on the other hand, when you take back your energy that you were giving to them, they're furious. On one hand, they need you to be a part of what it is that they're creating collective. You're a significant player in the game, right? You didn't make the game. It was already given to you to be a participant in. And these are things that are statements that can be found in business. The lingo and the jargon that I use is not coming from out of thin air. It has already been stated, been documented, and yes, it has been instituted. It's just that a lot of us don't get the opportunity to know these things because that's not the field that we're in. On one hand, we have to be led to these things. That's why there's spirit guides there to show people what they're interacting with. And they're not just guides because they don't know the way. They're guides because they have been down the way. The trail has been laid already for us to follow. It's just us getting into that being state of mind, investigative state of mind, you know, inquiring mind to find out for ourselves. As a saying they always used to say, and them old people say it all the time, when they try to teach you something to learn from your mistakes, and you're being hard headed, the only thing they'll tell you when they take their hands off of you is you're going to learn. And then you don't want them to put the hard way on that. So this is what I'm saying. This is the early Sunday morning, right? And I don't want to feel like we in Sunday school. So we're not going to get biblical because we are the living Bible. And there's more than one Bible. There's more than one version of a Bible. There's many translations. These are things that I'm stating that can be found and looked up. I'm not giving you anything that is something imperceivable. I won't give you the deepest thoughts of my mind and my imagining, because with the one hand of me being on this YouTube, conveying my feelings and my thoughts about what it is that's going on in life and what I have been experiencing in my own life, if I were to give you my imaginings free, I know that you would run rampant with them, because the hunger and thirst for financial gain, what a lot of you seek, regardless to whether you're watching just to get advancements from my energy, or even if you're watching just to be enlightened, because what I'm doing is not entertainment. This is not for you to feel like, okay, well, you done been to the movie theater. Everything that I'm doing is to touch your heart, to help heal your mind, so that when the time comes, you'll be able to free your soul. You won't be like so many of these reincarnated beings on the face of the earth, tired because they're stuck in a cycle, don't know how to get back to the way of which they came, because they have caused so much devastation, physically, mentally, or even verbally. And you know that is abuse. On one hand, they say, I love you. And with the other hand, they punch you right in the eye. Right? On one hand, they say, I'll never leave you. And on the other hand, as soon as you tell them no, they're gone. You see how it go? There's one hand and there's the other hand. That's that bipolarism that is in each and every person. God and the devil, good and evil, living or being good, right? Because see, on one hand, there's nothing new under the sun. On the other hand, all these things that we're experiencing are new. See how much confusion it is? And it's just making me think about a thought I was having about secular music, the music that everybody's talking about with twerking and what have you. To go with the hand, nothing's new under the sun. We can see that biblically and historically, each generation has come up with some type of music that the predecessor did not comprehend or welcome well, right? Provocatory, explicit, but that comes with aging. Because just as well as this generation that I know has a music that we all are aware of and that is leading our children astray. We once were those children. Not everybody made it out of it. Thank God for the ones that did. Everyone won't make it. That's just the way of life, not the way of the world. But on one hand, that music that didn't seem so explicit and irate to us as adolescents, teens, or young adults has now become that, because that's what advancement, that's what becoming an elder does to you. You see the holes way before you walk up on them when you become an elder. That's what the wisdom is. And no, all elders are not old, because even a little baby can be enlightened and well endowed in enlightenment with wisdom, born with, because they can be an incarnate being. They chose to come back. Where, when, to who, and how. Right? So we're going to get into some things, right? Because I feel within this energy field, with me separating myself from a lot of things and people that did not mean me any good, but only look for to get at those advancements. Here is the same smoke that on last week, whatever ritual you tried to do with the smoke, I saw it from out of thin air. Right here. But now this is the smoke of the pineal, pineal, right? Pine needles. For every needle, collective, of whoever it is and whatever they have tried, is where it goes away, right? Every needle. And see, there's only so many that are amber, but that's for that flame. They didn't think that I would be alerted. So, on one hand, we are gods and goddesses. We have the ability to bring life into this realm by way of birthing. And then on the other hand, we have the ability to take life. The only one who can give life is the one who can take it. And that statement should not have been so hard to understand, but standing in it, right? On one hand, being in that God or goddessship will make you responsible for every single thing that is happening, right? On the other hand, if you are denouncing your role in everything that is going on, you're not in your God state or goddess state. It's a conundrum, right? It doesn't seem fair, but it is. Life is fair. We just don't want it to be because of greed and lust, and the lust of greed chasing after things that won't serve us, chasing after things that does not give us life, right? Thank you, mama. Thank you, daddy. And it's so sad, like right now I'm thinking about everything, all of my thoughts and ideas that I've put forward from this day going back was that I would be having to sit here this day to say that I know a lot about what it is that you think I don't. On one hand, I've been called a voodoo priestess. I told you, I know her. I know a few of them. And I could go get them for you if I want to and let them tell you about me. On the other hand, I've been called an empress, an earth angel. I know this. But at the same time, how can I say that I'm a goddess on the one hand and not be everything? But there's the miseducation of what it is. See, in certain sectors, there's only certain words used for particular people. I come from treaters and healers. And it's sad that I have to recap my own story because I feel like when you're dealing with adults who are supposed to be conscious of all things, their work, their intelligence, that you should not have to constantly repeat yourself. But that let me know that even if you're so called conscious, that does not mean that you're not hurt and you need healing. It does not mean that you're suspicious of every and anyone because you have had so many in your life that has lied to you, right? And I feel like if I would allow all of the hurt and the pain that I have been through in my life, cloud my judgment on each and every person, then the whole world would be devils in my sight. But that's not so. We know that every person can be used or manipulated by someone or something, right? Because when you become a user of things, doesn't necessarily mean that you love those things, right? Excuse me. It was a mouthful of food for thought. It's like a belch come up in good sense, right? So being a user and not a lover of the people or the things, which preferably for me, I would prefer you to love people more than you love things. That's why the world is so messed up now. Because the things is what we create out of our hand as being made in the image of the Most High God, Creator. Give us that same ability, right? But we forgot how to love one another. We forgot how to respect one another, chasing after dollar, power, in the art of it all that brings us war. A war within, a war within ourselves. Why did we make these decisions? How can I advance past this point? I should have, I should not have. That's a constant state of war when it's already over because it's in the past. That's how you can get stuck in time and everything is passing you by. We go through ups and downs. Some call it karma. You're getting your payback. And I'm starting to feel like karma is calling out, saying, stop blaming everything on me that's bad. It's so sad. On one hand, everybody's beckoning for somebody to receive some type of karma that will hurt them. That shows me your true intentions. You don't want those people to be healed. You don't want them to come out of that cycle of living the way that they are, that got them into the behavior patterns that are unacceptable or probably harmful to others. So it's a perpetual thing. I want you to be healed so that you won't hurt anymore. And yes, if karma has to be dealt in the capacity to where you're incapacitated to hurt or harm anyone else, then that's what it shall be. It's part of the healing. Go lay down in your corner. It's time to take your break. Some of you been working overtime, hard, trying to prove points to others about how good you are so that you can feel worthy of something. It could be any one of us. It could be myself. But I don't have the energy for it because I have no point to prove to any of you. This is between me and the Most High God who made me who I am. And for me to love the Most High is for me to love myself. And if I love myself, then I know I can love someone else. But there are several different things that I will not tolerate. And it's sad when the one hand, you're so truthful for what it is that you do. There's nothing holding you back from speaking your mind, how you feel, how you want. But on the other hand, you have to send subliminals. How cowardly is that? You're a brave coward. It doesn't exist. So, on one hand, we have things like this that's supposed to help keep us protected. Is this a God? No, it isn't. But what it is black onyx. What it can become is something that I put my energy into more than the Most High, right? For my guidance and my protection. So what it becomes is an idol. And I'm not telling you all to not use them. The thought of what it does for you is what cures you. Here. It's just a reminder of the power that is already within you. When I was created inside of the darkness of my mother's womb, from the light of my Father's being. Everything that was supposed to be was already written. You see, she was the tablets and he was the pen. And his pen is mightier than the sword that you yield. That thing. When you speak on me, on one hand, you're delighted to hear what it is that I have to say. On the other hand, in order for your insecurities about someone else desiring me to be in my presence or even just in my company, you have to distort, defame the image. And it's such a shame because I know deep down inside you really love me. And who this message is for, you're going to receive it how you're supposed to. Now, for those of you who are in on the scheme, I know every last one of you. It's hard for you to hide because that's what you won't be able to do. Leave no stone unturned is what the Most High says is going to happen, right? And I appreciate that because it's so easy for me in my loving ways to not see the threat, right? Like someone who can point out the monster to me inside of an alley, but doesn't let me know that they're the monster inside of the phone or the computer, over the internet, Facebook, or YouTube. I don't have a Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. You see, it's sad that you've been lied to so much that when somebody do come to you with the truth, you would take it as that. That's how you don't know how to recognize the truth. That's why you all over the place with what you think is true. But you have yet to know who is it that has been to the ends of the universe and come back to tell you the truth without it being simulated. I'm gonna wait. And I don't want to be as old as Methuselah waiting on this to happen. It's so much stuff on one hand, and on the other hand, matters that does not matter, right? It just depends on what it is that we seek in this life. You say we reincarnated to pay out our karmic debt. Well, what have you read up on reincarnation? Have you had the choice to choose if you were human or not? Because, see, on one hand, we so educated to where one one word in a statement can make the whole thing false. Because, see, I can say I'm eating a candy, and I'm not. But if I say I have eaten a candy, and that's the truth. See, the have is what that one word. So I don't want to get too caught up on the one hand of all the lies that's been told, on the other hand of the truths that are known, right? Because see, when we deal with that, we're only dealing with the masculine and feminine energy. And that's the deception of the devil, right? It's to put enmity between man and woman. It don't matter which one it is. Long as there is a divide between man and woman, there's no life. Life can't come out of a distorted relationship. You have to have a even playing field of love, of light at the same time for that light to burst into another light. And even if everything that somebody else see, it's like this. I know I seem like I'm getting frustrated, but it is kind of frustrating when I'm thinking about what I'm thinking about, because this is a scientific find on a molecular level, right? We talk about on a macro and a micro. I don't care. It's gonna be somebody out there that's gonna make a video talking about what I'm saying. Just think critically on this. Don't get nobody else help. This is something I want you to think about for yourself. Use the information and research that come from other people. That's what we're doing. We're researching what somebody else put out there. We're searching for something that is out there already. So it's research. It's already been found, but it's profoundly professed through those who supposed to be scholaring. If on one hand, everything in life that the scientists who laid before us could be wrong about the sun and the moon, why would I believe that it is what it is? I never considered myself as a woman, on one hand, to be connected with the moon more than the sun, or the sun more than the moon, or the stars more than the earth, or the earth more than the ocean or the rivers of the lake. I felt myself to be connected with it all through experience. All meant all, connected to the all. Now, through scientific studies with devices, speaking on the sun and the moon, you're talking about a sperm and an egg, right? Theoretically, they can be gateways. That's how you get through here. But the aspect of what it is that they say women are more connected to the moon because they're charting your cycle, right? But I know this. When I look at that sperm under a microscope, it's the same color as the moon. When I look at that egg, it's the same color as the sun. But the reverse psychology on the reverse is to pervert what it is that we think we know. We have no clue. But then you want to tell me you denounce the Bible and everything else that it is that is say in there, right? Because what? They say the Son of God was a bright and morning star. They say Satan was the same thing. How it go? A greater light and a lesser light was created in the beginning. One to rule over the day and one to rule over the night. But what we see is that in a day that you can see both of the lights, not all the time, but in the night you only see one. See, these are the things that I would question in groups and chats and stuff like that. I know it's an idea and a concept, but those who have more notoriety, popularity, those who are very witty, have never thought of that of themselves, is going to take off like wildfire. And that's okay. Long as it's being distributed in a manner, in the context that it is. But see, that's that one hand and the other hand. Because on one hand, you tell me that the moon is there for the chart, the woman's cycle. That's what give you the 31 days. But that's a lie. Everyone don't have a 31-day cycle. Some women only get one cycle every 3 months. Some women have 2 cycles every 30 days. So who's fooling who? Because the microscope showed me something different. But who's to debate about it? And why would we, right? This is undeniably the truth. Because you made it to be true. The truth stands on these days, on the one hand, it ain't about the almighty truth that hasn't been twisted and no tongues could speak ill on. It's about man-made truths. Because it's a perception of the mind. And as long as so many people grasp onto it, the fallacies, it's a grand fallacy. So we just got to take it for what it is. But then when you believe in something that's putting unknown amount of energy and power into it to be true, because you hope for it to be that way and in truth, but it's not, because other things speak otherwise. And who is it to go against such theories that has been formulated into truths, suspected truths? It's not the whole truth. The holy truth won't be tampered with. The holy truth has not been recorded by hands of man. The holy truth is just what it is in its existence that cannot be tampered with. Ideologies, theories, concepts. These are all things that has to be thought about. It has to be worked out. It has to be studied. And there's no one study that's perfect in its state. Because if it was, we wouldn't have to suffer with some of the things that we suffer with upon the face of this earth, which we are constantly changing, that is constantly changing itself. And at the rapid rate that we're going, we're doing more harm than good, right? Because the counteract of what it is that the earth is already doing is causing rapid acceleration, right? Just think about this in a spherical sense. You're saying it's rolling on its axis, spinning. So now you create a device that actually alters the rotation of the earth, right? You want to reverse. That's why it's 2 rainbows. You want to reverse the process of what it is that the earth is going into. See, nobody want to deal with the harsh truth of that. As old as it seems to be to us, because our conception of time is so minute compared to the vastness of what it is in our existence, Earth is still a baby. And as much as we want to reform it, it's transforming itself. See it every day, right? Along with the aid of the things that you're doing to destroy it. On one hand, yes, man, you have learned how to kind of protect yourself. You build houses. You're learning how to build houses that are flame retardant. You're building houses that are resistant to hurricanes, and you're building houses and infrastructures that are resistant to earthquakes, right? But all of this stuff has to go up. And we know what goes up comes down as well when something is going on. So, yeah, somebody out there, you thought I was going to be triggered by what you said to come back at you in a different manner. Maybe you was doing that for to try to get me to come and speak on the panel, but I'm going to tell you like this. Your group of people, that's the reason why I don't speak on your panel no more. As much as I would want to, they blocked me and you allowed it because you wanted to know how far would I go. Sticking there with the pressure, right? How well could I handle when times got hard? I'm not too much of an internet person, but to connect through the ethers is easily to be done because we are energy. And that's what I feel about people the most is the energy. I don't fear you. I don't fear you. But I love you. I'm gonna tell you that. And every last one of y'all. Even the ones that don't mean me no good. Even the ones of you that has tampered with my energy, my image, your paperclip stamp, me saying things on different podcasts, and I know what podcasts I've been on. So in any affiliation of whatever it is that could be done, I know what group it would be stemming from in association with those, right? Because on one hand, I love you is enough. But on the other hand, because you love me, they hate me, right? But they don't think your heart big enough for to love all who you encounter. But that shows how weak minded and insecure in their own ways they are. I never been one to beg nobody for no attention or anything because the way that I came out is that my father told me that he would never leave his children homeless, hungry, without food, well, without clothes, a shelter, begging for bread. So if I don't have to beg for any of those things that is what I need, then why would I beg for you? I don't need a thorn in my side. I could go jump on a rose bush for that. I could stick myself and I don't believe in self-annihilation. But on one hand, I do know that we can beat ourselves up from decisions that we've made, right? People who we thought that we can encounter and have a good encounter with. On one hand, you cannot, because they're going to try to, if they are in any way of a distorted mental capacity, they got a social behavior disorder, sociopathy, psychopath, pathological lying, and manipulators, right? Narcissists, or what have you. Any other alphabet you can think of, that through psychology we have discovered from observation and repeat patterns, right? On one hand, we know that some of these studies have accuracies, and on the other hand, we have the knowledge that some of these studies are not accurate because of the test subject that they are testing and the group patterns or the demographics that they're put in that allows them to behave in such manners, right? They're going to say, if you are so well educated and endowed, then this is what you should have, because it's a standard that has been created to create a barrier or a divisive means. When you have classes, it's already divided: upper class, middle class, lower class, the divide and conquer. But we love that, right? Because the rich love being compensated by the poor. That's why the poor are poor, because you're pouring POURING into the richest cups that already runs over. You're not pouring it back into yourself with an empty cup that's like in the community, a poor community of people beating down each other, but they will break their neck to go to pay the rich who are already rich. They won't even come on your street and make it rain, but they're the gods that you praise. See, an idol. I don't praise none of y'all idols. I got 2 children I can praise. I can idolize them and lift them up, but they're living gods. I don't praise a dead God. See, this is energy in it already, but it don't have a purpose until I make it. This could be a dead God because it don't move. I have to make it move. It don't go nowhere. I have to wear it. I have to bring it where it's gonna go. It's just as well as a phone. My God is a living God, built like a tree, uproot itself and move, uproot herself and walk. And there's no limits to where they can go, because the earth is theirs. They're not just to be at one land. And I don't care what you say, because I see how perverted the minds of those who are fighting for an identity, whether you are more or less, Mason or Masson or Master, Indian, East Indian, West Indian, American Indian, Native American Indian, Alaskan Indian, whatever you want to call yourself. You designated yourself to one region of the world, or the earth, I should say, isolating in worlds of government. I like spearmint better. It go down easier. On one hand, a lot of stuff that we have created in this life is very necessary because a lot of us don't know how to govern ourselves. And on the other hand, it's just for superiority, hierarchy. And no matter what it is, on one hand, as much as they would love to say that they for the matriarchy, they not. If you tear down one woman, that means your whole statement of what it is that you're living for the upliftment of women, is false. Because that one word in the statement is making it not true. That's elementary. Did you learn that? That's the first thing I remember my teacher telling me in the fourth grade. The way you know how to learn if something is fact or fiction, true or false, is one word in a sentence that makes it false. Four times five is not 20. 4 times 5 is 20. I'm for the matriarchy, but I hate her. I'm for the patriarchy, but I hate him. You see how that is not the truth? But that's how quick, fast talkers talk. And they don't have to be a city slicker. They don't have to be a country boy. It just have to be a fast talker, a manipulative person. On one hand, they say their words so fast that on the other hand, when it comes time for them to stand up for what it is that they say, they forgot. Because that's just how cunning and subtle they are. You see that old devil come into play? And why that old devil de-evolving, lived, lived, that's a past tense, right? We know that God is going to live. And this is a statement. Let your hands on one hand, although it may not seem that easy to do, work together. It's time. It's time for a whole life. But it's time for me to let y'all go because my mommy do this have to come. And there's no other hand to that, baby. I am all the hands on deck for that. So have it your way. But I'm not Burger King. You can go there and be king. Get crowned as well. Thank you all for your likes, your subscribes, and your shares. Thank you for tuning in. On the other hand, I wish you a lovely, lovely Sunday.